that is partially filled with water. If the tank is 1/16 full right now, then what is the depth of the water at the deepest part? Now, yeah, it's a difficult question, but I'll explain that in a second. First of all, I want you guys to realize that this is not the same as if you were to have this kind of a scenario. This is not the same as that. Why? This is very similar to the scenario I just gave you, right? With a cone, right? Which is halved. Halved. What is halved? Halved, right? Is a chatsui. This is very, very similar to the situation I just showed you, right? Where the small cone is similar to the large cone. This is not the case here, and that is why I told you that you were talking about area ratio, right? This is not the same as that. Why? Because here you can see that the base, this base is smaller than that base, which is indeed the case here, right? This height is smaller than that height as well. But if it's like just the area of the base times the height. Just the area of the base times the height.
כן?
Yeah.
לא משהו חלקי 3?
פירמידה לחלק ל3, כמובן.
כן, זה מה שאמרת.
וגם קון, לחלק ל3. It's not the same thing because it doesn't shape, take a look at this. If you have, it's kind of difficult to explain, but take a look at this. Is this cylinder similar to the large cylinder?
No.
No, it's not. Why? Because if you take it out, then you have one cylinder which is long and slim and one cylinder which is fat and short. But they have the same width. Got it? When you're talking about a similarity, that means that all of the dimensions should be, reduced proportionally. These two are not similar. This is very, very similar to what you have here, right? You just take a tank, which does not become does not turn into a single point, right? You take it and you just have it. These are not similar 3D shapes. So how do we solve it? So the tank is currently 1/16 full. The question is, what is this? What is the height? Right? I know.
אני עשיתי V שווה 16 כפול 12 חלקי 3.
שנייה, בואי נראה. First of all, this is also 16, right? Right? If this is 16, this is also 16. If this is a 16 and this is a 12, right? We could have also calculated that. I'm not sure, that this is necessary. The question is, why is it 1/16 full? What is 1/16 full? 16 is basically this area times this height, right? Everybody sees this? This base times this height is 16th of this area times this height. You see, the overall volume, the total volume is, the total volume is 20 by 16 by 12. נכון? זה לא מתחדד, זה לא פירמידה. לא, את לא צריכה, you don't need to calculate it.
לא, לחלק 16 עושים.
נכון. So this is the total volume. And who wanted this one? Okay. And this volume is a 16th of that, right? So if you divide this volume by 16, you get... Exactly. So far, so good? לא סיימתי. You get 240. That's one. לא, זה פשוט בסיס חצי.
בסיס הוא 16.
חלקי 3.
לא, זה לא פירמידה. זה לא פירמידה, פעם שלישית. אני לא יכול. זה לא פירמידה. זה כמו מנסרה. זה כזה דבר.
זה משוואה שיש על רבית מורחב.
בסדר? Actually, what's important here is not really the volume, it's the ratio of the volumes, right? Now, so it's... But if you look at it that way, it's difficult. That's exactly, that was your question. It's better to look at it like this, right? If you look at it, it's a very difficult question. If you look at it like this, you say, okay, this area, this is 16, right? This is 16, נכון? ואז אתם פשוט נכנסים, נניח זה הבסיס, הרי נפח זה נפח זה נפח, נכון? זה שטח של בסיס כפול גובה, נכון? מה השטח של הבסיס? The total volume here is 12 by 16 divided by 2. זה המשולש הזה, נכון? כולם מסכימים שזה השטח של המשולש הזה? Now, this, in order to calculate the whole area, multiply by 20.
רגע, למה זה 16 כפול 2? כפול 12 חלקי 2?
שטח של משולש אישה סטית. בסיס כפול גובה. בסדר? כפול הגובה. יותר נוח להסתכל על זה כך, כי אז יש לך משהו, יש לך בסיס נוח, נכון שזה לא בנוח. Okay, now, this and that is a 6, right? And this volume, therefore, if you divide it by 16, you're going to get 6 by 20, and that is a 120. So, אז הווליום הזה הוא 120. בסדר?
אפשר לעשות מה שעשית עכשיו?
אפשר לעשות זה, אפשר לפתור את זה, פשוט יותר נוח להסתכל על זה כך. טוב, הנה החלק הקשה.
What's the difference between the one you did before and the one now?
It's just an easier way to look at a base. And what I did earlier
What
was
is this 120? What is this?
This is the volume of the water here.
The one before?
It was the ratio of the two, but it was. It's what's important is that it is divisible by 16, but a couple of us didn't get it, so I changed it. Shh. Listen. Here's the trick. These two shapes are not similar. Why? Because they both have the same depth or width. It doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat. They both have this width, right? A width of or depth of 20, right? Which means, if you think about it, that if they have a difference of volumes, what's going to change is just the area of the base, right? If this base is just 16 times greater than that base, right? So if you have two bases, this is the big one and this is the small one, right? I'm talking about this triangle and about this triangle, right? If the area ratio is 16 to 1, what's going to be the linear ratio? We're done. What do you do when we're 4 to 1? מצוין, מוציאים שורש, נכון? מוציאה שורש. Because linear ratio squared is going to give you the area ratio. So the square ratio of the area ratio the square of the area ratio is going to give you the linear ratio. Good. So this is a ratio of 4 to 1. Got it? Which means that if this side is a 12, if this side is a 12, this side is going to be a 3. Exactly. If this side is a 16, this side is going to be a 4. Exactly. Got it? So here the question was, what is the water, what is the depth of the water? It's this, it's 3. That's it.
So you didn't need the 120 in there?
No. Just wanted you to understand basically this is the total volume, this is the volume here, the 120. But it doesn't really matter. What matters, and remember what we said about ratios, what matters is, well, the ratios of the quantities, not the quantities themselves. If you have, and I wanted to show you, but I did want to show you that these two shapes are not similar. Why? Because they have the same depth. If they were similar, then all of the dimensions would have been proportional. Got it? So it's basically just this base times the height, or that base times the height. And if one of them is a 16th of the other one, okay. That means that the linear ratio is 4 to 1. Yes?
אני חושב שאני ביטלתי את העומק, כי זה לא משנה. והסתכלתי על היחס במשולש הדו-ממדי.
Which is 1 to 16, yeah?
ואז חיברתי ביניהם שיצא לי שלם, לא זוכר, הכפלתי 15, הכפלתי וזה יצא לי להגיע לשלם.
Listen, like with the previous questions, I wanted to play with you just a little bit. I also remember the question I told you, this is a slope of 1/2, so this is going to be between 0 and 1/2. It wasn't part of the question, but I want you to know, to feel, because they do ask questions about that. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is this. If this is if the ratio of the volumes is 16 to 1, that means they have the same depth. That means that this area is 16 times as great as that area, which means that this line is 4 times as great as that line. That's it, basically. Yeah, one last remark.
אתה אמרת שזה משולשים דומים או לא דומים בסוף?
Okay, again, the 3D shapes are not similar. The 2D shapes are similar. Exactly. Exactly. בסדר, כדי שזה יהיה דומה, היית צריך גם לחדד את זה, בסדר? שפה זה לא היה ממש קו, אלא זה היה מצמצם לכדי נקודה אחת, בסדר? אבל אם אתה, עוד פעם, אם אתה מסתכל על זה מהצד, זה, מבט מהצד זה כן משולשים דומים. Good. So that was question number 7. Moving on, please. Page 405, question 5.
407.
407, question 5. What is the 30th term of the following sequence? So obviously they're asking me about the about the 30th. We said that on this examination we have up to 10 simple counts. Fantastic. So obviously if they're asking about the 30th number, there has to be some kind of a trick. What is the trick? In order to move, there has to be some kind of a logic here, right? In order to move from 1/9 to 1/3, you multiply by 3. 1/3 to 1 by 3, so on and so forth. Got it? So A3 is 3 to the power of 0. A4
is 3 to the power of 1.
A4 is 3 to the power of 1. Hold on. I thought you said 3 to the power of 4. A5 is 3 to the power of 2. Got it? Oh, so then I can go back and I can say A2 is 3 to the power of -1 and A1 is 3 to the power of -2. Agreed? So if you want to go all the way to A to the power of 30, pay attention to what you have here. Remember, A3 is 3 to the 0, so you subtract 3, right? 2 minus 3 is -1. 1 minus 3 is -2. Exactly.
אבל התשובה היא 3 בחזקת 29, זה למה...
זה לא נכון, זה טעות שלהם.
רגע, זה לא 28?
לא.
לא, 327 התשובה.
אז הם עשו 3 בחזקת -2 כפול 3 בחזקת 29 שווה 3 בחזקת 27.
כן, אפשר לעשות את זה גם ככה. למה? Because if you want to go from item number 1 to item number 30, how many gaps do you have between those two numbers? 29. And each one of these gaps is times 3, right? So it's like multiplying this times 3 to the power of 29, right? Because you multiply it times 3, 29 times. At the end of the day, you get this. I actually like our way better because, you know, it shows you a very clear. You just subtract. Just a sec. You just subtract, you know, a 3 from the cardinal number. Yeah.
הדרך שלדעתי טיפה יותר טובה בגלל שאתה לא מדלג על המספר 1, כי קל לספור את 1 גם בפנים.
Question 9. Who's this? A 60-digit number is created by writing all positive integers in succession beginning with 1. Succession, retzef.
Okay.
So, a 60-digit number would be 1, and then all positive integers. And then it's going to be 2. And then it's going to be 3, 4, 5. So I think I got it, right? Then I move on to 9. Then it's going to be 10, right? I'm just concentrating on what's going to show up, right? That is going to be different. Then it's going to be 19. Then it's going to be 20. Then it's going to be 21. Okay, I think I got it. What's going to be the last number here, obviously? 60. Now, if you have 1 all the way up to 60, how many digits are you going to have here?
61.
No. Think about it. No.
I said 1 to 9 is the first 9 digits.
Yes.
10 to 19 is the next 20. Because
Exactly. 10 to 19. Think about it. You have 10 double-digit numbers.
yeah.
So that means that each one of these numbers from 10 to 19 is going to hold 2 numbers. So that means altogether they're going to hold 20 digits. Got it? And from here to here you will have you'll have 9 digits. Then from 20, so I thought that it's going all the way up to 60, but probably, it's not the case. I need to pay closer attention. From 20 to 29, again, we have 10 numbers, each of which having 2 digits, right? So we're
חלק
gonna...
חוזרים על עצמם, נגיד 0 חוזר על עצמו, 1 חוזר על עצמו.
מה זה משנה? את רוצה סך הכל שיהיו לך 60 ספרות במספר הזה. כרגע יש לך כבר 49, נכון? From 30 to 39, we're already going to have 69 digits, which is not okay, right? So what do we do? Here, we count. Is it okay to count? Yeah, it is. The question is, what is the 44th digit? Actually, oh, yeah, so this is a bit of an overkill. Okay, never mind. They could have asked you, what is the last digit? בואו נניח היו שואלים, זו שאלה שהיא קצת יותר אופנית ל-SATs. מה הייתה הספרה האחרונה של זה, בסדר? What is the last digit? Now here I have 49, right? 49. So this is going to be 50, 51. So this is going to be 51. So I write down 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, right? So this is going to be the 51st digit, 52nd, 53rd, 54th, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got it? So this is going to be the 60th digit. They could have asked you about that. Got it? Well, instead, what they chose to ask you is about the 44th digit. What is the 44th digit of the number? So you do the same exact thing, right?
I said 20 to 25 is 12. Right?
20 to 25 is 12?
Digits.
Yes, agreed. But you know, it's you can get confused very, very easily. If I were in your shoes, I would do, okay, this is 29, right? So this is the 30th digit, right? Now, if you go all the way up to here, that's going to be 49, so that's going to be beyond that, right? Now, pay close attention. This is the 30th digit, this is the 31st, 32nd, 34th, so 33rd, got it? So 30, 32nd, 34th, all of those are always going to be 2. נכון?
Yeah.
So that's it.
כל הזוגיים תמיד?
כן, כל הזוגיים בטווח הזה הם 2, נכון, הם 2, נכון. אז אני לא באמת צריך לספור את זה עד הסוף.
כן.
Got it?
כן, מסכים עכשיו.
אני חושב שזו הדרך הכי קלה. עוד פעם, it sounded like an SAT question, but then at the end, McGraw held slightly changed it just a little bit. It's just going to be 2. Okay, moving on, so 5 and 9. Page 408, question 7. 408, question 7. Who's this? Yeah. So this is 3 to the power of 36. So there has to be some kind of a trick here, right? And the trick is not very complicated. 3 to the power of 36 is like, well, we talked about it actually at the beginning of the course. I don't know if you guys remember. This was lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 was that 9 to an even power always ends with a 1. And the 9 to an odd power always ends with a 9. For example, 9 to the power of 1 is 9. 9 to the power of 2 is 81. 9 to the power of 3 is 729. So this is something we learned. But even if you didn't learn that, you could have still solved the question I'll show you in a second. But let's assume I did remember that. So 3 to 36, if I want to convert it to 9, that's going to be 9 to what power?
מה?
18.
Yep. So this is going to be 9 to the 18, right? 9 to the 18. So this is going to end with what?
1.
Yep.
אני לא יודעת איך ידעתי את זה.
למה? יניב, למה? קודם כל כי למדת את זה.
פשוט אפשר לעשות את המחשבה וזהו.
מה זה?
מה המחשבה נותן רק כשאתה מעלה 3 בחזקת 36?
למה?
I'm curious. Oh, forget about God. God has nothing to do with this. This is what you get. You get 1.50094635317, which means that it's all of this number approximately times 10 to the power of 17. Now 10 to the power of 6 is a million. Got it? 10 to the power of 17 is a huge, huge number. Basically, this is what Chai told you. You're not going to see the units digit here. If it were to be written as a decimal number, then the units digit would have been about, you know, like, it would have started, it would have been around here. Got it? It's too small. The screen is physically too small. So you have to understand the logic behind it. So first of all, Daniel, this is something that you learned and you could have used, right? Could have used. No, you get one.
וואו. שלא יישבר לי המסך. יופי.
2. You with me? Let's assume I didn't remember that because let's be honest, we don't always remember all of these, right? So what do we say? We ask ourselves, is this a must or a maybe question? This is a must question. What do? We plug in comfy numbers or comfy scenarios. What is a comfortable scenario if we're talking about 3 to the power of 36? What's a comfortable scenario?
3 to the power of 2.
3 to the power of 1, to the power of 2, to the power of 3. There has to be some kind of a trick. I'm certain of it because otherwise it would not have been an SAT question. So 3 to the 1 ends with a 3. 3 to the 2 ends with a 9. 3 to the 3, hopefully it's going to change soon because obviously I'm not going to count all the way to 3 to the power of 36. 3 to the 4 ends with a 1, right? That's an 81. 3 to the 5, ooh, you with me?
3.
Exactly, 3 to the 5 is basically like this times 3. Got it? So if you take 1 and you multiply by 3, you get a 3 as well. Got it? Basically what's going on here is that you have, and it's going to continue, so 3 to the 6 is going to be like 3 times 3, which is a 9, so on and so forth. Got it? So every fourth number is going to end with a 1. So if you have 3 to the power of 36, which is like 3 to the power of 9 to the power of, no, 3 to the power of 4 to the power of 9, what is 3 to the 4? 3 to the 4 ends with a 1. 1 to the power of 9 is always going to end with a 9. Got it? So again, this works. Good. So moving on, please, college board questions. Moving on, yep. אתם לא עובדים קשה, אני פותר, אני רוצה להמשיך לפתור שאלות, בסדר? כן.
יכול להגיד לי מה זה יונט דיג'יט?
דיג'יט, ספרת אחדות.
האחרונה כאילו.
כן, בדיוק, ספרת אחדות. קדימה, קולג' בורד. אני אצטרך ספר אחד ברשותכם. יש... כל אלה מהקולג' בורד?
לא, זה?
מאיפה אלה? אני מבין. טוב. אז יש לך הרבה שאלות. למישהו עוד יש שאלות מהקולג' בורד? אוקיי. אז בוא, כמה?
פתרתי קודם.
אחת? כמה לך?
רגע, אולי יש לי גם...
4? 5?
שנייה, אני אגיד לך.
Okay. You know what, in that case, because you do have a bunch of questions, so why don't we take a 10-minute break and we'll...
מי בא לאכול?
אני חושב ש...
יש לי מלא.
תפסיקו להפיל דברים, זה מלחיץ.
אוקיי.
דניאל, החוצה שלך. התחלתי לעשות חלק שקולים, אני אמור.
מה?